And that was Brian Shute. It was his last name, right? I remember, I think it being his last name. If it's Brian, I'm going to really be happy with myself. Oh, so what year was it too, by the way? 85. Wow, year I graduated high school. Right, Brian Shute. Is that right? Yes. Okay. I give myself credit for knowing his first name. And I was close. Yeah, I knew. Shoot. Yeah. And I remember the female that he falls in love with. It was like an older woman. Remember he kind of had a crush on? She was a bit of a, not famous actress, but kind of a character actress that was seen in a lot of other films or shows maybe. Thank you. Yeah, no, I see it. I don't know if y'all can hear us. Well, I know you can. We're talking about a 1985 classic, Vision Quest. How many of you have seen Vision Quest, the movie? Great movie. One of the better sports movies when it comes down to it. Seriously. Wait for a few more people, then we'll get up and going on a Tuesday, the 17th of September. Happy Tuesday night, Bill Taylor, Ken's 5 Digital Center. Yes, we're talking 80s classics because our good friend Darcy, Digital Ninja, we were talking about the shirt she was wearing and the hoodie. Both shirt and hoodie, Lost Boys, The Lost Boys. You guys remember that movie from the 80s? One of the first, like, vampire movies where the vampires were glamorized, right? Like you wanted to be a vampire when you saw The Lost Boys. That was a cool movie. And then the other 80s classic that we're talking about was the great Vision Quest, a great sports movie that, I mean, a lot of people don't know about. I'm like, it's a good movie. You might have to probably go to Amazon to see it. It's worth whatever they're charging for it. It's a good movie. Matthew Modine plays a high school wrestler. All right, the tropics. When we start here, bit of a, less than active season from what we thought was going to occur. National Hurricane Center, Colorado State University, one of the leading forecasting institutions when it comes to the amount of hurricanes we're going to see every year, really forecasting a very active 2024 because of La Nina, because of the tropical temps, low wind shear. A lot of factors are falling into place for a pretty active season, but we just haven't seen it really. Now, we've gotten through Gordon. We're waiting for Helena. And we've got a couple of systems that you can see out there that could form up. Gordon is really just what we like to call a fish storm, just going to be out in the central Atlantic, not making landfall. There was a system, did not get a name, by the way, but there was discussion of it going tropical the last few days off the coast of the Carolinas, put flooding rains down along the Carolinas, but never was a named storm, just a good system right up the coast of North Carolina, putting down like 3 to 4 to 5 inch rainfall totals. Like, I'm talking about 3 to 4 inches per hour, and they stacked up nearly 2 feet of water. It was incredible. But right now, we've got two systems that in the next 5 to 7 days are showing some potential. This first one is only about a 20 or 30% probability. Here's the interesting part, though. Western Caribbean, where you see that focal area, and the GFS model, one of our global models, moves this system up and into the eastern Gulf of Mexico by the end of September. Now, with that said, it probably stays in the eastern Gulf and would impact Florida, Georgia, Alabama. But right now it's early, but I'm just letting you know that one of the models is leaning into this system, developing and moving up and into the eastern Gulf. The other, almost on the heels of Gordon, going straight out into the northern Atlantic, really not impacting any landmass. Just doing what hurricanes are supposed to do. Transport warm water and warm air to the northern latitude, to the southern latitudes, to the poles is where they're going. Okay, every system that forms, its goal is to get to the North Pole, move and displace that warm water and warm air. It's how the Earth cools. Hurricanes are a big part of our Earth's climate. And in the southern hemisphere, they move towards the South Pole. Now, again, they sometimes run into some land along the way, but the ultimate goal is to move in that direction. So that's what we're seeing in the central Atlantic right now. That's a 60% chance when you see orange that we get Helena out of what you see there. All eyes to the sky. In fact, we're coming up on peak moment of our partial lunar eclipse. My good friend Brian Tobias from Salsa, that would be the San Antonio area. Wait. Okay, got it. San Antonio League of Sidewalk Astronomers. We were talking about it in the 2 o'clock meeting, our editorial meeting, and our assistant news director said, yeah, I've also heard of the San Antonians who love San Antonio. That's also salsa. But the first salsa I ever heard, and I know Brian, a good friend, San Antonio League of Sidewalk Astronomers, they're set up right now as we speak out of McAllister Park. They set up out at the dog park. If you've got and they always set up their incredible telescopes, so you always get a really good view, and they're so friendly and so helpful. You can bring your telescope out there. Maybe it's your first one or you have one that you don't really know a lot about. They will help you get the most out of that telescope. Or if you're interested, go look at what they have and they'll help you on the investment of a good telescope. So anyway, tonight, the super harvest blue blood moon, okay? It's closer to us in its orbit, so that means it's brighter as well as it being a little bit larger in our sky. And here's the interesting part. The next supermoon, next month, will actually be closer. So this one is the second to closest, with the next one being the closest out of the few that we've had recently. Because we've had a few. That's why it's called the, here's another partial eclipse. Why it was called a blue moon. It was 3 full moons in a season, not necessarily that we had a 2 blue moons in a month, or 2 full moons in a month. We had 3 full in a season, summer season. Or 4 full. No, 3. I'm right, 3. Because by the next one will be in fall. So 100% full in just a few minutes. Technically 3 more minutes. We're 3 minutes away, everybody. Nobody even looked over here. They're not very excited. 9:34, 100% full moon, okay? The harvest moon, 7% bigger, 15% brighter in the sky. There could be a slight red tint to it. We're not going to expect a big, spectacular red blood moon on this one. But you should see just a little bit of a shadow on this moon here shortly, which could be visible up to as late as midnight as we have a partial lunar eclipse, okay? So what happens with this, the Earth is passing in between the sun and the moon. And so the Earth's shadow is being cast onto the surface of the moon. Max eclipse, 9:44 our time. and partial goes until about 10:15. And notice, even max, it's going to be a slim little sliver. Slim little sliver is all we're getting out of it tonight. Hey, Lee, so that's why it happens when it's hot. Yes, that's why. Hey, Shell, happy Tuesday. Michael, what's going on? You're welcome. Justin, good to see you. Gabriella, love you too. Yeah, so once again, it's not going to be a spectacular view tonight. Brian was telling me to. I always check with him on all things celestial. See a little right now on the moon. You can see a little bit of that shadow. Thank you so much, Ashley. So Ashley's taking a look. You can see just a little bit of it right now. If you've got a good view and a good camera, please send us a picture. btaylor@kens5.com. Hey, Selena, how are you? All right, moving forward, some heat. Please make sure you're hydrating. We've got some hot days ahead on the 14-day forecast, especially Wednesday should be the peak on not only high but heat index. I think 104 to 105. We're going to bring in a very slight chance of a shower next Wednesday and Thursday. Certainly not anything to bank on at 20%, but a chance nonetheless. We go down to the upper 80s. That won't be bad, right? Hey, Cindy. Jacob. Oh, it's not my birthday today, but thank you. It'll be in October. So yeah, there we have it. 2 in 10 chance. Fall begins on Sunday, the 22nd, the autumnal equinox. So these final days of summer will feel like summer and then some. We should be at 91, but instead we're going to, like I said, tomorrow looks to be the peak of 97 degrees. I love that tower. That drone shot of the tower for my night video. Watch. There she is. All right, guys. That's going to about wrap things up on an awesome Tuesday night. Blessings to you and yours. Homemade tacos, rice and beans. Nice stuff. Lupe, how are you? Right, a couple of minor changes. I mean, it's nothing I wish we could say fall. I mean, that's definitely going to happen. But the fall, like, temps, not yet. I mean, most mornings will be in the 70s. Not even 60s. Howdy, Lorenzo. Thank you, Jacob. It's that time. Be safe. Yes, indeed. You know, we were talking about it today, though. Compared to last summer, this summer was a gift, right? Remember, last summer we set a record of 75 100-degree days. This year we had 27. 27, big change. So last summer was like literally 3 summers in one, right? 3 summers in one, it felt like. Hey, Tamina and Tony, good to see you guys. So glad you're on. All right, guys, that's going to wrap things up on this awesome Tuesday. I hope you have a wonderful evening and an even better Wednesday. Make sure to join us for Ken's 5 News at 10. God bless y'all. Have a good one.